Hello Capricorn, and welcome to your new moon lunar cycle insights video for the cycle beginning in early December with the Sagittarius New Moon and culminating with the new moon solar eclipse in your sign in early January. So this is a much quieter month than the ones we've experienced previously. We all have a little bit of rest, a little bit of respite, perfectly in flow with the energies of the earth as well. You know, for those of us here in the northern hemisphere, we're withdrawing, it's winter. You know, as the energy withdraws from the land, it also withdraws from us. And for those of you in the southern hemisphere, you experience the fullness of summer at this time, which is also, you know, a time of resting. It's quite often very hot and we're, you know, relaxing more than usual and just experiencing the fullness of life. So it's a much more of a still period as Mercury and Venus kind of come out of their retrograde shadows. We head into the solstice gateway. Things are shifting and changing, and some of the rewards for our hard work is, you know, we're receiving. So a much slower pace this month. So we begin the month for you, Capricorn, with, on the 1st of December, Mercury coming back into Scorpio, into your 11th house. And on the 2nd of December, Venus doing the same. So we have them, you know, Mercury still retrograde, Venus is still in her shadow at the beginning of this month, and they come back into this 11th house, which is where they both were in mid-October. So we're kind of revisiting the themes. There'll be some culmination and some completion to what was going on around October time. During this period, you know, we may be having to do some more transformation, you know, if we didn't let go of everything we needed to, or we may be receiving the bounty from the work that we did do. So the 11th house is the house of how our individual purpose intertwines with the collective evolution of the whole. So it's a house that's very much connected with humanitarian pursuits as well as our own hopes and wishes for the future. It's also a house that is related to our connections, both online and in person. We can think of the 12th house, the Aquarius energy, as being like the cosmic web that connects everything and everyone. So when we've had Mercury kind of retrograding here and Venus retrograding here, we might have been having to let go of some old connections, some old threads of our web may have had to have been cut. Some old dreams and visions may have had to have been reworked or let go of or transformed in some way. We're literally rewiring, recalibrating our life. You know, so perhaps during this period there's been some friendships or circles, workshops, you know, that you've been doing, that you've been working with, and you've had to kind of take a step back and realize, you know, call your energy back, disconnect from people who are taking from you without there being an equal exchange of energy. Or there may have been some people that you've just had to kind of step back from, or like I say, groups online as well. So as these planets kind of station direct, you know, Mercury stations direct, Venus leaves her shadow here, we can see new connections, new opportunities, new ideas coming in to replace all of the things that we've worked through and let go of since October. As Mercury kind of backtracks through the final degrees of Scorpio in this 11th house, he will trine the North Node, which is now in Cancer in your 7th house, and he will trine Neptune who is currently moving through your third house. So these are houses of sociability, of networking and connection. These are the spaces of the birth chart where we interact with other people, where we speak our truth, where we create harmonious relationships, and where we come together in conscious community. So there can be some rewards in these areas. Perhaps you go to a social event and meet somebody who offers you an exciting opportunity. Perhaps, you know, you meet a new partner, perhaps you meet a new friend, and these people will have a transformative impact on your life. So the new relationships are coming in during this period, Capricorn. So it's important for you to be open to receiving them, because we also have this month a gathering of planets in your 12th house. Your Sagittarius for you is the 12th house of your birth chart. So we have the new moon here on the 7th, just days after Mercury actually stations direct. We also have the sun here at the moment, and of course Jupiter moved here last month as well, as we talked about in depth. So this can be a real amplification of those themes that I talked about in November's videos, where we're having these expanded visions, you know, these ideas, these inspirations. Sagittarius is like the higher consciousness, the higher mind, where the downloads come in, particularly with this new moon on the great attractor at 14 degrees Sagittarius. And the 12th house is ruled over by Neptune and Pisces, and it's this house of dreaming, of vision, of seeing what is unseen, of, you know, the spiritual, the other reality that we don't see with our physical eyes. So during this period, we can really feel that deep spiritual, perhaps we're awakening to a new level of our own spiritual truth. Perhaps there are shifts and changes that are happening with what we believed. This is the house of the subconscious, and Sagittarius is very much the sign of belief, you know, what I believe to be true. So here we're really dissolving, you know, that isn't true for me anymore, that doesn't align with me anymore, but oh wow, you know, this amazing new insight has come in and that does feel true for me. So this can be a time when you're kind of shedding and cleansing in preparation for the sun to move into your sign. So you may feel that kind of internal energy, even though we're dealing with Sagittarius. So we want to get the balance, because we don't want to miss out on those new connections and opportunities that are coming. So, you know, find that spot in the middle of having your time for solitude and your time for being with others, because the conversations that we have can be very, very transformational this month. So as we head to the winter solstice, of course, the sun moves into your sign. You initiate the winter, Capricorn. And so happy birthday for those of you who will be having your birthday this month. And as the sun comes into your sign, of course, he is going to meet with all of those transformational energies that are currently working through Capricorn. So we know that you are going through deep, deep changes. We've got obviously Saturn, your ruler in your sign. We've got Pluto, and now we've got the South Node there as of last month. So you really are, you know, one of the signs that is going through this deep metamorphosis at the moment. You know, you're simultaneously transforming and letting go and planting the seeds for your coming 28-year cycle. So there's this huge kind of need for you to build the foundations of your life, to create structure, to create solidity, which you know you love anyway, Capricorn. But also there's this element of, okay, I'm also continually rebirthing myself and dying to the old and being born anew. I'm constantly doing this phoenix cycle at the moment. So the sun coming into your sign, of course, highlights all of that for the next 4 weeks. So we get to see how far we've come, you know, how much we've changed and transformed over the previous year since Saturn did enter our sign. The day following the Sun's movement into Capricorn, we have a Cancer new moon at 0 degrees of the sign of the Crab. So this is your opposite sign, of course. So this is your first 7th house axis, self versus other, which is very, very prominent for you over the coming 18 months, because this is where the nodes are. South node in your sign, North node in Cancer. So you're being pulled into this 7th house of collaboration, cooperation, of learning through the other. But also we're learning to come into our emotions, coming into learning the rhythm, the cycle, the ebb and flow of life. You know, Cancer is the moon goddess who pulls the cosmic tides in our bodies as well as here, you know, on the physical earth. So she knows the importance of cycle, of rest, of play and work, you know, moving together in harmony. You know, she is comfortable with her emotions as they wax and wane, whereas Capricorn is a much more kind of solid, anchored energy that is not so comfortable with the expression of emotion or the cycles of life. There can be a tendency with Capricorn energy, particularly with Saturn here at the moment, to push, work harder, do more. So this moon not only highlights us coming into balance, but also, you know, illuminating the space of our birth chart and thinking, you know, how open am I to being with others, to working with others, to sharing my emotions with others. Oh, you know, these patterns that I've got that are coming up in the 12th house, wow, you know, they came from my parents. My dad acted this way and his dad acted this way, or my mother acted this way and her mother acted this way, so now I'm going to break the cycle. So it's this time of real awareness of how we interact. And of course, you know, the lesson for you at this time and for the next 18 months is all about this balance of self and other. So we're going to head into the new year with Mars moving into Aries, which is also the 4th house for you. So we kind of see this theme of working with the patterns of our past, you know, uncovering the memories that stop us from moving forward. But it can also be an energy of, oh, you know, really lighting a fire underneath us, really kind of showing us how we want to break out of old stagnant routines and patterns that have been holding us back, as Mars will, you know, throughout January be trining Venus and Jupiter in your 12th house. We'll talk about that a little bit more in the next video. But we can kind of see we're coming into this new cycle as we come into January, and we'll close this lunar cycle with, of course, a solar eclipse, the first solar eclipse of the cycle in your sign, which we'll talk about more in the next video. But just be aware that you are in a profound period of metamorphosis, Capricorn. So I am going to pick a card for you to finish this reading from the Glastonbury Tarot by Lisa Tenzin-Dolmer, and they are pretty much out of print now. They're quite an old deck that I have used, wow, since my teens. And they've got all of the mythological figures of Avalon in the cards. So here we have Guinevere, the Empress, and there's just many more beautiful pictures in these, but we'll pick a card for you, Capricorn, to guide you through this lunar cycle. And this card is interesting. This is Judgment. which sounds ominous. But for me, this card is very interesting because you are Capricorn and you have Saturn moving through your sign at the moment. And for me, Saturn is the lord of time and karma. Saturn and Old Mother Winter, who is associated with the sign of Capricorn, has been here since the beginning of time, and they see the karmic consequence of every action and reaction. This is why Capricorns are known for being quite cautious, because we see the long-term implications of the things that we set into motion. So for me, this card for you this month means, you know, you're seeing the rewards of the work you've been doing, of course, up here in the 11th house with the dreams and the opportunities and the connections. But also it's time to, as I said, with Saturn in your sign, to take stock of where you've been and where you are going. We can also look at that 12th house as an area where we can clear a lot of karmic energy as well. And you know, I don't believe in karma as, you know, we're being punished for something we've done terrible in previous lifetimes. I believe it is a system, a divine cycle that teaches us lessons. So we can look at not only letting go of some stuff that may have been plaguing us, but also calling back gifts that we've had in previous incarnations, calling back parts of our souls that we have lost or disconnected from. So it's quite a deep card, and you can see here it's depicted as Saint Michael, and there is a tower on top of Glastonbury Tor dedicated to this archangel as well. So it feels like a very powerful card for you with Saturn in your sign. So it might be worth meditating on the meanings of this tarot card as well as we go through the month. So I am sending you so much love, Capricorn, and I am wishing you a blessed, blessed Yule season and a very, very happy birthday for those of you who have your birthday in December. Thank you so much for listening to me. If you wish to connect with me further, you can check the links below this video.